About 14,000 years ago, the glaciers receded, forming the Indiana Dunes, leaving behind three diverse environmental landscapes that now make up the Greater Dunes area and include the Dunes Region, the Moraine Region, and the Kankakee Region. These distinct landscapes fill our area with a diverse, vibrant ecological splendor. The southernmost beaches of Lake Michigan house some of the world's greatest lakeshore dunes, created by the combined artistry of glacial deposits, lake currents, and wind. This dunes ridgeline is the result of a wind-blown sand that washed up on shore from Lake Michigan, creating sand dunes. The current dune ridge on the Lake Michigan shoreline began formation over 2,000 years ago. Henry Chandler Cowles, an early pioneer of American ecology, said, "There are few places on our continent where so many species of plants are found in so small compass as within the dunes area." One of the landmarks in this region that exemplifies this diversity is Cowles Bog, named after the influential scientist. Take the trek there and you'll start to see why the dunes are considered to be the birthplace of ecology. Its nearly 5 miles of hilly trails surround the beautiful wetlands and eventually lead you to the lakeshore and its plentiful dune grasses. Head east to find the area's largest living sand dune, Mount Baldy. Standing roughly 125 feet high, it slowly and steadily buries the landscape as the sands shift, reshape, and adapt in the ever-present force of the lakeshore winds. The building block for all sand dunes are the same: plants.
Plants hold most of the dunes together, but sometimes either from natural causes or people walking on them, the plants will be killed and you actually allow the wind to sculpt out that dune, to literally blow it out. So what we always tell folks, don't walk off the dune trails or off the open beach areas because you can literally damage the dunes, creating blowouts.
In late May, the Dunes region is home to some of the rarest and most gorgeous sights the Indiana Dunes has to offer. That's when native wild lupin, pacoon, trillium, orchids, and a multitude of other spring wildflowers bloom along the Inland Marsh Trail, in areas of West Beach, at the Heron Rookery, and other locations throughout the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore. And if you are lucky and have a sharp eye, you'll see the endangered Carner blue butterfly caterpillars making a meal of the lupin's leaves.
Carner blue depends on oak savannas because within those savannas you have lupin. They eat it, they lay their eggs on it, and without it, they can't survive.
The Dunes region is a birder's paradise, with more than 350 migratory species winging through the area yearly. Head right to the shoreline, or for a more comfortable setting, the State Park Nature Center is a great place to see many of them in their bird feeder viewing room, which is open year-round. In the fall, when migration is at a peak, you can witness the capture and tagging process of the tiny saw-whet owl, while out at the nets, keep your eyes peeled for flying squirrels. Just south of the dunes, cutting-edge environmental practices are in use at the internationally recognized Coffee Creek Watershed Preserve. Its facilities feature a green roof and wetland treatment cell for those interested in seeing environmentally friendly practices. Its innovative level spreader system cleverly disperses runoff water to avoid erosion. Wildflowers also abound at this restored preserve that showcases Coffee Creek along the trails that have many secluded and inviting public access points to the creek. And that's merely a sampling of the possible adventures awaiting you in the Dunes region. Picture a bulldozer a mile high and as wide as your eyes can see. That was the size and power of the Wisconsin ice sheet as it pushed slowly south from Canada, grinding and scraping over the land about 14,000 years ago. As the climate warmed, the glacier melted back to the north, dropping its debris as it retreated, which formed the hills of what is now known as the Moraine Region. The waterway and river system that was left behind eventually evolved into a continental divide known as the St. Lawrence Seaway Divide. Water on the east side of the moraine flows into Lake Michigan and eventually to the Atlantic Ocean, while water on the other side flows into the Kankakee River and goes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. This network makes the Moraine region an integral part of our continent's biggest drainage system and helps sustain the unique environmental wonders found within its borders. The one-of-a-kind Pinhook Bog, which is part of the National Park Service, was formed from an ice chunk left behind by the retreating glacier. The bog's standout feature is the layer of sphagnum moss with its sponge-like surface. You can bounce on a floating platform that goes over this patch of moss and literally shake the entire bog. Tall Tree Arboretum and Gardens, perched atop the Valparaiso Moraine, was named among 10 arboreta in the US that will leave you speechless. Its standout signature tree is a majestic bur oak over 200 years old. Plus, you don't want to miss the new railway garden, as well as both formal gardens and native landscapes. The rolling hills of Rogers Lakewood Park are constant reminders of how the land was pushed and pulled by the glacier. The park's lakes, known as Kettle Lakes, are remnants of the lingering glacier ice that melted and settled into the landscape. The rolling terrain and size of this park make it a great destination for nature enthusiasts. William Bridges of the New York Zoological Society said, "There never was anything quite like the old Kankakee Marsh in northwestern Indiana. The superabundance of its feathered game and fur and fish was next to unbelievable." During the glacial retreat, meltwaters unleashed the Kankakee Torrent, a huge flood that left behind enormous sand deposits that formed the bed of the Kankakee River and the surrounding Kankakee region. Although landscape changed dramatically in the early 1900s when the area was drained, plowed, channelized, and converted to agriculture, you can still see several sites that retain impressive remnants of the original native landscape. At the Jasper-Pulaski Fish and Wildlife Area, tens of thousands of sandhill cranes gathered during fall migration, and at the nearby Kankakee Sands, the Nature Conservancy has restored 5,000 acres of wetlands and prairie. If you're feeling ambitious and willing to hike off the beaten path, you might be lucky enough to find bald eagle nests in the swamp and forest of the Yellow and Kankakee Rivers in southern Porter County. From living, moving dunes to rich and fertile bogs, from glacier-carved lakes to rivers channeled by man, the ecological highlights of the dunes are diverse, plentiful, and inspiring. Learn more about the 3 different regions of the Indiana Dunes at the Indiana Dunes Visitor Center.